Okay, so this is actually going to be a very important video. This headline here for the Washington Post says, quote, secret CIA assessment says Russia was trying to help Trump win White House. Now, this is pretty much the same as the New York Times one, but I actually went through and looked at the New York Times one, so I have the quotes for you from there. But this is very important because this has been something that's lingering about, and I'm starting to get quite tired of it. So, the first quote here is, quote, American intelligence agencies have concluded with, quote, high confidence that Russia acted covertly in the latter stages of the presidential campaign to harm Hillary Clinton's chances and promote Donald J. Trump, according to senior administration officials. So now, obviously, we've been hearing a ton about, the Russians have been interfering because Putin and Trump are buddies and Putin wants Trump to win and all that type of stuff. So, it seems interesting that the President Obama, has not came out and gave anything clear on that, and now I guess he has ordered for an actual probing of what happened to see what actually happened. So that'll be interesting to see. But anyways, the next quote here, quote, Mr. Trump's transition office issued a statement Friday evening reflecting the deep divisions that emerged between his campaign and the intelligence agencies over Russia meddling in the election. Quote, these are the same people that says Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, the statement said. So now I think that this is actually something that could have some value and actually could be smart. Because to be honest, what these guys say, the intelligence people, the reality is that whatever they want to say, they're going to find some kind of an evidence to say. And honestly, this information is so loose because it hasn't been verified by the president, and it actually hasn't even been, the probe hasn't been conducted yet, so we don't know for sure. But because, this is like something that can get a lot of attention, a lot of clicks, a lot of views and stuff, it's going all over the place. But the point is here, what I'm trying to say is that Hillary Clinton lost, and the DNC and the Democratic Party and everybody who's not a Republican or a Trump supporter is honestly trying to find any excuse possible for her shitty campaign and the shitty political record she has and how she lost. And the Russian crap shit is honestly one of the biggest things that people seem to blame it on, even though there's no hard proof evidence at all. And on top of it, what I hate is the fact that people bring up the WikiLeaks and the emails dropped by Hillary. They didn't doctor up or change any of the information in the emails. So if they're exposing information to the public about the politicians, which the public has the right to know, and that information is bad, then that would therefore justify the dropping of that information because they are showing the public what their elected officials have done. Now, is it wrong to educate the people on the politicians? No, it doesn't change the information in the emails. If the emails have bad stuff in it and they dump it, that's fine. Now we look at it and say, okay, you're shit, and so is what you've done. And not because of Russia did it or some other fucking country did it. That's not what we're talking about. It's the information in the emails. We couldn't give less of a shit who gave it out. It's about the information in the emails that we look at and talk about, and that's why we go down. All right. Another quote here. Quote, the GRU controlled unit known as, quote, Fancy Bear or APT-28 is believed to have created two outlets on the internet, Guccifer 2.0 and DC Leaks, to make Democratic documents public. Many of the documents were also provided to WikiLeaks, which released them over many weeks before the November 8th election. Alright, so Julian Assange has actually came out and said that the source is not Russia. Obviously, we would have to fact check that as well. However, regardless of, I'm trying to tell you guys, the Hillary Clinton campaign is looking for any excuse they can find other than running a shitty campaign, being a shitty politician, cheating Bernie Sanders out of a fair DNC competition, and not even taking the election seriously, to be all honest with you, the general election seriously. So they're trying to find any possible excuse they can, and now that it's coming towards the end of Obama's term, he's starting to do this and look into it. The recounts are actually going underway, and the margins are actually nowhere near enough to where she could have won. And honestly, that's why you see no fucking news coverage anywhere. you have to Google search it and you'll find random article sources. Not saying that they're not credible, but I'm trying to say is that the mainstream media isn't even covering the recounts right now. So I think the fact of the matter is that they're trying to find the excuses for the shitty campaign they ran, and the Russia garbage is the number one. And honestly, this piece of shit needs to end. Regardless of whether Russia will release the documents or not, honestly, I couldn't care, and the people who care about the information about the politicians that the public deserves to know doesn't care, because regardless of what country released it, the information in those documents do not change, and it does not change how the information in the documents affects us or how we think it's going to affect us. So the fact that someone would blame someone else for the truth being revealed about them is bullshit. Because if we find out the truth about you and you're complaining about someone else exposing that truth, really everyone should be pointing their finger at you and not the country, because the country is educating the people on what the politician is like.